Hi, welcome back to Speakerstack Music. This is the second video of a series of videos where I break down how I've created a techno rock track in Ableton. First video is an overview video. The second video is about the kick drum. So this is one of many instrument channels we've got set up on this Ableton song. The first thing to say about it is that I have set up a group for all of the elements of the drum kit, and that I have used individual instrument track channels, all MIDI track channels, to create different parts of the drum kit so that we can create more flexibility in terms of how we produce and set up the sound for each element of the drum kit. So the kick is on track 2, and it is a MIDI channel. But as I said, I have them all set up under a group which I've got some broader parameters, some broader production effects on across all of the elements of the drum kit. Just to give you an idea of what the track sounds like with the kick, I'm going to play you the first part of it. I wanted something quite solid, 4 to the floor, with additional percussion layered on top of that, using things like the toms and the snare and the hats to create a more rhythmic effect. But the kick, I wanted quite a solid foundation for the song. So what I did to create the kick is, as I said, I set up a MIDI channel on channel track 2. And then I dropped in an impulse template, which you can find in the instrument section of Ableton. So if you go to instruments and then just literally click on impulse and drag that in. So what you're doing there is you're not dropping in a preset sample that Ableton has created for you. All you're doing is dropping in the impulse instrument template into that channel. And then you need to tell that channel, that instrument, what sample you want it to play back. So I've actually gone in and I've individually selected the kick sound that I want in that instrument channel from the sample list down here. And if you come down here, you'll see that you've got a whole list of different audio samples that you can drop in. And if you type in kick, it would help if I spelt it properly, kick, then you bring up all the kick drum samples that you require. And what I've gone for is kick RTO, which is quite a solid kick sound. So you then would select that, click and drag it in. Okay. What Impulse is giving you is a template to create an entire kit. So you could just use one instrument channel and then drop each element of the drum kit into each of these sections of the instrument template. So you could have the kick drum here, you could have the snare here, toms here, and you could build it up that way. And you could create an entire drum kit just on one instrument channel. And actually, if you go into the instrument, let's just close that down. If you go into the instrument channel and select one of these preset drum kit samples, packs that you've got with Ableton and drop it in, that's kind of what you'll get. You'll have each part of the drum kit on each of these sections. But a different way of doing it and a more versatile way of doing it is actually creating a separate channel, separate track for each part of the drum kit. So all I really want to do then for this, because this channel is relating to the kick drum and that's why I've labeled it kick, is just drop in the kick sound here. Then what I've then done is I haven't messed around with any of these parameters too much, but I have increased the decibels to 0 here. Then what I've done is I've just gone in and I've drawn the notes. So in order to do that, you literally just need to select a section of the music, like what I've done here, and that opens up a section that you can then draw in individual beats onto each of the beats within the bar. And you can do that by clicking on this pencil icon up here, and you can drop individual beats in, and you can see that it's actually auditioning how that's sounding for you. So I've done that. I'm just going to delete that because that's not wanted in that part of the track. But I've done that essentially across all of the kick instrument channel within the song. So you'll see there are sections where it builds up and then it drops out just to create tension. And then you'll see it's quite steady and falls to the floor all the way through. And there's a breakdown section here, then it builds back up, then another breakdown section here, and then it builds back up towards the end. The kick drum really is working in parallel with the structure of the song in a way, because it actually emulates how I wanted the song to go. So in the sections where there is kick, that tends to be where the song's driving forward, and then where there are sections without the kick drum, that tends to be the breakdown sections where I've just let other instrumentation come through, shine through in the song. But there's no right or wrong way of doing this. You can create the structure according to how you want it. One thing that is helpful is to just create some space just before you drop in a section. So if I just play this bit, you can see that I've used the kick to kind of build up tension, then drop out, then come back in again. So if I just play that here, you'll get a sense of how that sounds. Okay, so you've got something like that going on there. And I've done that again in this section of the song here. We've also put in a few drops into these parts here, just on the offbeat and on that bit there. Sorry, not on the offbeat, just before the bar comes in on that section there, just to break up the song and just to reintroduce a bit of tension back into the song at that point. And yeah, it continues all the way through. So moving on to the production for the kick, I've used an EQ8. I've applied a low cut high pass filter parameter here, which you can select by clicking on this icon here, and I've captured a lot of the lower frequencies. So really this sound is capturing all the frequencies down to about 10-20 hertz, which you can see down here, but I've boosted it at around 100 hertz just to punch it through a little bit in the mix. I've allowed it to capture all that space up to about 10,000 hertz, where it just tails off with another high cut, low pass filter parameter at the end there. I've also dropped in an Ozone stereo imager, which is a plugin which you can download, and just applied a little bit of stereo effects, not too much to the sound, just to broaden it in the mix. And then finally, I've applied a utility, and I haven't really dabbled with this much, haven't adjusted the gain, but what I have done is made sure that it's on bass mono. And what that means is that there are no stereo signals coming through on the kick sound under 120 hertz. I've set that at 120 hertz. So everything under 120 hertz is in mono, and then anything beyond that is in stereo. So we're really capturing those lower frequencies of the kick sound in mono, which is exactly what you need to do, because you need a solid central sound coming through in the mix. And a lot of the stereo sounds tend to get stereo phasing. You just don't want that kind of thing going on with your kick. So I've applied bass mono there. And that is the kick drum in essence. So what I'll do now is I'll just post up the finished song at the end of this video. If you want to go in and have a listen to it, feel free. It'll give you an idea of how it's come out in the end. In the next video, I'm going to have a look at the snare drum, and I'm just going to work my way through doing short videos on each element of the song. So the next 4 or 5 videos are going to be around the drum kit, and then I'm going to move on to the more exciting stuff, such as the bass synths, the pads, techno effects, and we've got some third-party plugins such as Serum and Cthulhu on this. We've got some guitar, some sequencers, a lot going on. So I'm going to try and keep these videos as concise and snappy as I can. Thanks very much for watching. I hope that you found that of value, or you find some of these videos for this series, creating a techno song, of value and of use to you when you're creating your own techno song, or indeed any other song in Ableton. Please consider subscribing. if you're interested in getting more videos like this, and please like the video if you found it useful. That'd be awesome. So hopefully see you in the next Speakerstack video. Thanks very much.